Hey friends, CGS here, and I want to share a little story with you today about why it's not just buying online, but it can be in buying in second-hand shops that we can come across fakes. A couple of weeks back, my dad, knowing that I'm into guitars and knowing also that I'm really keen to be spotting fakes and the like, saw in a local town, in a second-hand shop selling bric-a-brac and who knows, Quentin James, maybe even water. But he saw in the window what he thought was a Gibson Les Paul for 290 GB pounds, which, as you'll know, is a ridiculously low figure. So I figured that it was probably a fake. Anyway, I thought, what the heck? I'm out that way for work anyway. I'll swing by the town, find the shop and have a look for myself. So I turned up and sure enough, as I passed the shop to park, it looked to me like there was a Gibson Les Paul in the window with a cherry burst. Anyway, when I'd parked and I went back to see the shop, as soon as I looked in the shop window, it was quite obvious to me that it wasn't a Les Paul fake. It wasn't a Les Paul either. It was an Epiphone, and 290 GBP for an Epiphone is actually not great secondhand. So I knew I wasn't finding a bargain. However, there were a number of guitars in the same shop window, and one of them was a Fender Strat. And on closer inspection, it looked to me very much like it was a pre-CBS Strat. I went into the shop and spoke to the shopkeeper and asked to see the Strat from in the window. And to be fair to the guy, he immediately said, I don't think it's a real one. It's something that somebody's put together out of parts. And I said, what makes you think that? And he said, well, I'll get it for you and show you. And when he brought it back, the bodywork was appalling. It was very pitted. It was clearly either a hand painted or a really bad black spray job. So the body, also the contouring on the body, which I'll come back to in just a moment, which is what told me that it wasn't a real thing. The body contouring was really badly finished as well. So it looked like somebody had actually created it with hand tools, painted it by hand, and the body was appalling. The scratch plate and pickguard, if you're in America, was pretty decent. It looked to me like it might even be from a Fender or at least a Squire. The three pickups looked like fairly decent quality pickups. So anyway, it was the neck that really interested me because I happened to know that pre-CBS, the water slide decals were put on top of the lacquer. And on this guitar, the water slide decal was on top of the lacquer. It had the word synchronized tremolo system underneath it, and then 5 patents. Now, I'd only ever seen that on the sort of 63-64 transition Strat, which is a year or two before the CBS takeover. So I was really interested, and I took a picture of it. And here is that picture. Now, you can see from this picture that the water slide decal is very, very badly cut. And also, the finishing does appear to go over it, although the water slide is raised. As you can see from the picture, it does have the old, what we call spaghetti style logo, Fender logo on it, which again is synonymous with the pre-CBS era. But the finishing on the headstock is terrible. And what really gave it away for me, and I said I'd come back to the body contouring, was the fact that it was missing the headstock, the additional headstock sticker, which says original body contouring, which is pretty standard for pretty much every single Stratocaster guitar ever made. Now that was missing, and that immediately rung alarm bells to me that this was not a genuine Strat neck. If it wasn't enough to note that pre-CBS, the truss rod adjustment isn't in the headstock. It's in the body end of the neck, and the headstock just doesn't have the truss rod adjustment there. So it's a plain bit of maple on the headstock. Additionally, the poor quality of the finish and the missing body contour sticker made it pretty straightforward for me to tell that it wasn't real. So the great thing was, I said to the guy, look, I'm afraid this is a fake. This is something that somebody's put together, not very well, but to the untrained eye, it would be really easy for somebody to mistakenly buy that as a Fender Strat. I was really impressed with him because he had said to me, immediately asked about it, that it wasn't a genuine Stratocaster. And after I'd finished, he decided to put a note on the guitar saying that this was a parts guitar, a replica guitar, and was not a genuine Fender. And so fair play and kudos to the shopkeeper in that shop. And that also was up for about 270 UK pounds. So I wouldn't have paid that for it, and I didn't pay that for it. But had it been a proper 1963-64 era pre-CBS Strat neck, the neck alone would have been worth it. Another thing to note, if I go back to that picture, when I got home I did a bit more research and I looked into the headstock decals over the years, and what made me think that this was a 73-74 transition is in that period they did put on there with synchronized tremolo system, and also they had the patent numbers, but usually in 74 there were just 4 patent numbers. What's more, if you look very closely again at the picture of the headstock on this guitar, it has the first patent number is 2.575 of the first few digits, and that should be 2.573. And this is something that people that create duplicate water slide decals do all the time to make sure that you can spot a fake from a real one. So that was another thing that latterly, when I came home and looked up the details about it, gave me another telltale that this wasn't a real thing. So as always folks, it's buyer beware, and it's worth checking these things out. And if you've got a genuine shopkeeper like this guy was, then fantastic. You've got a really decent chance of not being ripped off. However, not everybody is as nice as that guy, and it's very, very easy to pick up something that looks like a bargain but really isn't. So I hope this has been helpful. I hope it's been interesting. I'm sorry I didn't take more pictures of the guitar because it would have been nice to show you the poor body contouring. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Tell me about any fakes that you found that were for sale either online or in a local store, and what you did about it, because it's quite good to be crusading out there and helping out our fellow guitarists by pointing these things out to shops and online shops as well. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, don't forget to give it a like, and if you haven't before, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon to get notified when I'm uploading new content, which I try to do at the moment at least once or twice a week. And so I'll be back really, really soon with another video. In the meantime, my good friends, you take good care as always.